It's time for Old Roommates. This week on the show, we revisit 1985's Cocoon. So make sure your ears are on straight and get ready to listen to an all-new episode.
Welcome, everyone, to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. This is Christina.
And this is Brian.
And we revisited Cocoon.
Mm-hmm.
Brian.
Yeah.
I think I've seen this movie one time in my life.
Well, hopefully twice.
Well, twice. Sorry. Prior to this.
Yeah.
I'm so curious about your history with Cocoon.
I really wish I could remember. I don't think I saw this in a movie theater. I remember when the Oscars came out. So 1985, I was 13. Mm-hmm. This is June 21st, 1985. I don't think I did because I feel like it wouldn't really have been my kind of movie. It was a hit.
Yep. I
don't feel like it was like one of those things like fun for the whole family. Like, so mm-hmm. I feel like I probably just got on VHS. I worked at, as I've said this many times, worked at a video store when I was a teenager. So I feel like, though, I definitely saw it on VHS multiple times. And I think it may have been one of those movies in the rotation where you can, where it's quote unquote
That's a safe choice.
It's like a safe choice, yeah.
Was it PG? I forget.
I think it was PG, yeah. And
did you like it?
Oh, I really did.
Yeah.
I really did. I'm trying to think. I do think the alien forms kind of freaked me out. Mm-hmm. Like when they would peel the skin off or, take the skin off. And yeah, I really did like it. Huh. I found it very like light and fun and pretty fast moving. Mm-hmm. But it was very surfacey for me. Like I was, 13, so you're just kind of like watching old people like break dance and stuff.
Right.
So it's like it's sort of like gimmicky and fun. Aliens, swimming pools, old people, whatever. It was like kind of a light movie. How about you?
So I definitely did not see it in the movie theater. In fact, I didn't see it when it was, like in 1985. Like I didn't see it in 1985, 86 or whatever. I remember seeing it a few years after, and it was on HBO, and I was at home, and I think it was probably, a rainy Saturday or whatever, and I'm like, mm-hmm. Oh, Cocoon's on. Yeah, I'll watch that, because, like you said, it was pretty successful.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing the trailers for it,
mm-hmm.
and feeling like it was kind of fun, but again, not my type of movie, I'm not really a sci-fi kind of person, but I thought it would be fun. Mm-hmm. And I remember liking it. I didn't love it, but I think, again, a little bit like what you're saying with the surface. It's very, like, kind of surfacey. It's light and airy.
An easy movie.
So you're kind of looking at it like, well, is there anything else going to happen? Like, is there anything more substantial to this movie? But no, it's just really it is kind of what it is.
If I ever met someone who said, oh, I hated that movie, I'd be like, what?
Yeah, exactly. What? There's nothing to hate about this movie. There's nothing to even really.
Weird
there's nothing
choice.
Really to even dislike about it.
My least favorite movie is Cocoon. Like,
right. Those old people dancing made me uncomfortable.
Old people finding joy in their life? No. Aliens helping people? No.
So
weird. So
it was almost like a lighter version of like E.T. almost, right?
Yeah. So when did you re-watch it?
I rewatched this a few weeks ago.
Yeah, me too.
And I remember the first thing I realized was these people look really young. I'm looking at them like, is it me or do they seem way too young to be in a nursing home? Even before they went into this like fountain of youth or whatever, mm-hmm. It still seemed like they were walking around fine. It was just kind of funny. And,
they're cutting through the woods, climbing fences.
They're carrying, their water stuff. Like
that's a good point. Like, they're starting out. Like, they're not like on canes and stuff.
No, I feel like they could have been a little bit more feeble.
Okay.
To begin with.
Yeah. They were in their 70s.
Except for
Wilford Brimley, who was 49.
49. But they made him look old.
They made him look old.
He wasn't supposed to be 49.
Yeah, right.
So younger than me.
But I will.
Younger than not both of us.
Both of us. But I will say, there are assisted living places around here in Rhode Island the starting age is 55.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think that's assisted living. Like, is this considered assisted living where they were living? Maybe it was. I guess it wasn't full on.
I mean, they were able to roam the grounds and stuff. Because they had
their own little place, right? They had so I guess you're right.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Well, and remember too, like these are couples that were living together. So I feel like it was like an assisted living, like, I don't know, a village, you know?
You're right, Brian, okay? You're right. 1,000 times. You're right. So, anyway, that was my first thought. I also did not remember a lot of this movie. I gotta tell you. Like, as I was watching it, I'm like, I completely forgot Steve Guttenberg was in it.
What?
Isn't that funny?
Oh my God, he's so
cute.
I'm
like, oh my gosh. He's what? So cute?
He's so cute. Did you notice anything else about Steve Guttenberg in his early scenes?
I thought he was quite terrible in it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
But no, what?
In
his
swim trunks, I was completely distracted by his swim trunks.
What?
Yeah. You have to check it out.
I will now.
Yeah. It's like there's even a scene where Ron Howard directed it, and he has the camera up like a hole in the boat, and I'm like, there's no way they're gonna let Steve Guttenberg walk over this hole in those shorts. The shorts are so short, and they leave very little to the imagination.
Oh my!
I thought he was really cute in this, but there were moments where I'm like, oh God, he's so dumb. Like the character is so dumb.
I thought the acting was really bad in this for him.
Really?
I thought he was too enthusiastic. I thought everything he did was just too much. I
took that from like him trying to match the tone of the film. Like they were going for like a summer comedy sci-fi adventure. Like I think his performance didn't bother me. The character's intelligence level bothered me. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe that's what he was trying to be. Maybe he was trying to be goofy or something, but I didn't buy it. I'm like, oh, what did I buy? I must have done something. I don't know. I must have written it somewhere. I don't know where it is. But anyway, I just felt like he was just over the top. I thought it was a little cringy, and I really didn't really love the character itself. Like, I feel like somebody else could have done a better job.
I was just stunned at his complete willingness to have sex with an alien.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, the choices
he didn't even know what it entailed. And, yeah, he made this character is not a good character, but we disagree with the performance. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sebastian's in it from the Neverending Story. I completely forgot about that he was in this movie.
Isn't it Bastian?
Well, obviously his full name is Sebastian. But his name is David in Cocoon.
Oh, yeah. Which is funny. So when was Neverending Story?
84.
84. So this is after
Neverending Story.
This is That's interesting.
Pretty sure.
Yes, I noticed. I'm like, oh my gosh, Bastian. My note after that, Steve Guttenberg. Let's calm down a bit. That's what I wrote.
In his first scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he was really trying to I think he was probably coached to be like, make it fun, make it light, make it rascally. You're like this funny boat captain.
Yeah.
I wrote dope peddlers, LOL. I guess the elderly folks thought, what had happened? Someone said dope peddlers and I laughed.
Was it by the car? Was it like the car scene? I forget now.
I don't know. I think it was Wilford Brimley said dope peddlers because I think they were watching from the woods and they were taking things out of the water or something, and I was like, oh God.
Oh, right.
And the way the line reading made me laugh. That was very funny.
It says, I can't remember the last time I took a risk. I'm like, doesn't he break into the pool all the time?
Yeah.
Like, that's a risk.
Completely agree.
Right?
Yeah.
He runs away from the nursing home and breaks into the pool.
That's right. Those are risks.
On a regular basis.
Yeah. There was a line that gave me pause when he said, someone said something with a horny dolphin. Do you remember that? And it was like, was it Steve Guttenberg in the water or something?
I think it was.
Oh, no, the dolphins are horny, whatever. Christina, am I crazy? I don't know why. I had this conversation with some friends recently, and they looked at me like I was insane.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of a dolphin sexually assaulting someone at like a petting dolphin experience?
I've never heard of that happening. Have you?
I have, but I can't prove it. I don't remember who told me this.
Were you assaulted? Is this something you need to get off your chest, Bri?
As a Pisces, I'm offended by that.
Oh my gosh.
No,
well,
but
maybe you were attracted to that.
I swear to God, I heard stories of like someone's like, oh, you have to be careful with dolphins because dolphins have sexually assaulted people. I'm like, what?
I have never heard of that.
I can't prove it, but I swear some people told me this. It doesn't matter. But when he
like
ever said,
sweet creatures.
when he ever said, careful, the dolphins can get horny. I was like, see,
aha.
I'm not. But I heard that much more recently than the rewatch of whatever, or since Cocoon, like 85. But anyway, side note. What I really did like about this movie, and I think the tone is really right, is that I never thought the old people were pathetic. I never thought. I think they were treated with a lot of respect. These characters were treated very well.
I agree.
And the case in point for me was when I was like, I like the way this was handled, was the eye chart scene.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of movies would have fucking pumped up the music, made it sad, shown his struggle. They would have shown him later in the car crying or tearing up. He would have thrown the thing and caused a scene, and everyone would have looked and felt bad. It was very small.
Yes.
And he got frustrated, which felt very real, and they left.
Right.
And I thought that was handled really well.
And it showed a lot about his personality too.
Yep.
You know, like, yes, he was annoyed, like he was visibly upset, but he didn't berate anybody. He wasn't blaming anybody. He was still, and he was still kind of like that man, like kind of that stubborn man.
Yes. Yeah.
But yes, I agree. And I think throughout the entire movie, they were very respectful of the older people. Yeah. And I appreciated, even just like the different types of personalities of the older people. Like they did a nice job like fleshing out the characters. Mm-hmm. And, there's that one man, Jack Guilford, Bernie. Was that Thunder?
Oh my God, that was Thunder.
Boy.
Ooh. I wonder if the microphone picked that up.
I don't know.
Wow. Continue. Sorry.
Anyway, it's that Jack Guilford character where he's just like, no, I don't want anything to do with this. And I think that's a real response.
I'm glad they did that.
I think it's a real response. It's not like everyone is going to be like, yeah, let's go be young again.
And it's so sad because they were really trying to say, like, listen, do it for Rose. Do it for Rose. And Rose, spoiler alert, Rose dies. And then he brings her to the pool, and it's a lost cause. And oh my God.
And I think that was a like kind of correct response too.
Yeah.
And I still think it was like the right decision for him though.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I never felt like he did anything that was not in his character. Yeah. Right? Just because, and I don't think that he would have regretted. I don't know. I even though he brought her to the pool, and that was such a sad scene. Oh my God, it was so sad. Even though he did bring her to the pool, I don't feel like after all the grief, he would have regretted his decision of not going. Yeah. Yeah. Right?
And you also needed that other perspective.
You did.
Like it's like similar to my sex with an alien note. Like there has to be someone that's like, this is weird, you guys. This could be dangerous. Like you need that person that says this other side. Otherwise, it's like, wow, they're awfully comfortable swimming with these like weird giant rocks in the water, Right. And they were so suspicious anyway. But
Well, they would never have expected it was like an alien in there. Do you know what I mean? Like they would never be like, "Oh, we maybe shouldn't go in there because it's aliens." Yeah. I would have. I would have thought they were weird rocks.
But there was a lot of talk that they thought maybe they were drugs. They were like filled with cocaine,
right?
They were all like hyped up and like ready to have sex with anything. And when he ever said like, I think this may have even been before that, but he was like, he'll be chasing these dolls till his dick rots off. Wilford Brimley has some really funny lines. When he ever said blue steel.
Oh my God. He's good. He's good. I never watched Our House.
Oh, yeah.
But, was it Folgers commercial or something?
Yeah.
But he just, I don't know, he just seems like a normal guy.
Our House was a TV show with Deidre Hall, Shannon Doherty, and Wilford Brimley. How about when he ever said, "Want a piece of candy, little girl?"
Yeah.
When he walked into the shower with his wife. Oh my God, so funny.
It was fun.
So
but
funny.
you didn't feel like they were old people. That's what I loved about it. Like, it just, like, going back to that prior point, right? Like, it didn't feel like it was old people getting it on. Like, it just felt like people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think there was a really good balance of, like, say, with Hume Cronin and Jessica Tandy, who were married in real life. When he ever, like, they're in the single beds in the same room.
Yeah.
And he lifts up the covers, and he, like, sort of pats the bed, and she was like, oh. And I think it was so sweet.
Yes.
But, like, you do, of course you see, like, they're older and, all of that. But it was just, I mean, it's very, like, very sweet. Very,
yes,
like, life-affirming.
Sweet.
Yeah, all that stuff.
I did feel like that relationship with Steve Guttenberg. What's his character's name? I have it somewhere. I don't know, I forget. Jack.
Yeah.
I feel like Jack's relationship with the alien was a little bit, like, unnecessary.
Completely.
Right? Yeah.
Completely.
I don't know why. He should have just been maybe that goofy captain guy.
She wants nothing to do with him.
No.
Over and over, she doesn't. And even when they're in the pool, she's like, oh, fine. And also, what a letdown. Like, the sex is a second long. Like, she does the thing where the sparkles fly all across the room, and then it hits him. And I'm like, oh, like, okay.
So that's
That's that. I hope it was worth it.
I mean, he seemed to be happy about it, but...
You have no clue what the ramifications of that are. You have no clue, like, if you caught some intergalactic disease that's going to kill you.
An alien STD.
I laughed out loud when... Is his name Walter, Brian Dennehy's character, or is it Ben?
Walter.
So,
Ben is Wilford's character.
Oh, okay. So, when... I forget what her name is, but... it's Raquel Welch's daughter.
No kidding. I don't think I knew that. That's
so,
funny.
She quickly throws her human outfit on, but her ear is a little off. I think that is done so well, and it's so funny.
I agree.
And then
really good.
Walter goes over and, like, fixes her ear. Oh my God.
Really cute. It's so creepy with Jack being a peeping Tom. Right? Like, again, like, I loved this movie until Jack appeared. I just felt like his scenes were odd.
Yeah.
His enthusiasm was off.
His character's pretty gross.
The character, like, everything he did was a little bit weird. And then he even, like, goes to explore, and it's like, they said don't touch anything.
I know. He's a child.
Like, don't fucking touch anything.
I know.
You these are your clients, essentially, and they're doing something important. Don't touch anything. Is that too hard for you to understand?
Especially something you wouldn't even know what to touch. Like,
you
it's
don't
not
know what
it's
it
not
is.
right. It's not like a gold maker. You just crank a wheel. It's like he has no clue what this thing's gonna fucking do, and he starts pressing things. It's
stupid.
Like stupid.
Just a stupid character. Why did I write down $2,500 a month? Was that I think that was what they paid.
Did they pay Jack that or the house rental?
I think it was the house rental.
Okay.
$2,500.
Yeah.
That's a nice house to rent for $2,500 a month.
Yeah. It was kind of switching gears, but I really liked that it dealt with Joe's wandering eye.
Yes.
Again, a weaker movie. Just would have been like montage after montage after montage.
Yeah.
And this movie was like, oh no, let's actually delve into that. What happens when people that are senior citizens get their sexual mojo back?
Yep.
People are going to slip into their old ways again.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe's old ways were a womanizer, wandering eye, affairs. And
yeah, that was an interesting...
I thought it was really... That surprised me. It clearly didn't track with me when I was 13.
It surprised me as well.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about that too, but I loved that, Jessica Tandy's like, I'm leaving you.
Yeah.
I'm like, good for you. You're like 70 years old and you're leaving. Good for you.
I'm going to move in with my dance instructor friend.
That's it. This 55-year relationship, you just crossed a line.
Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah,
I thought it was great. I was like, because it was surprising as a story, as a plot twist or storyline. And then it was surprising that she left.
You wonder if her leaving had something to do with her new vitality.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
Like she's feeling a little bit more confident because that's really what it boiled down to is, oh my God.
Oh my
thunder.
God. Yeah.
That's really what it boiled down to was they're getting all of this, physical stuff back, and it's giving them a lot more confidence just in everything. They're trying new things. They're standing up for themselves. And I feel like that was a huge part of it. When you're older and you can't do things you used to, that's definitely a hit to your confidence, your self-confidence.
Yeah. So then I do have some critiques.
Okay.
Kind of weird, like just some things where I'm like, oh, that seemed much easier, like than I would have imagined. So basically, like Walter's explaining to Ben, so they get caught in the pool.
Yes.
And then Walter says, listen, it's taken 10,000 years for us to save these cocoons. These are our friends and our only hope for carrying on our civilization. Mm-hmm. And Ben basically says, like, but would it be okay if we could just have some pool parties here for my old friends? And Walter's like, okay. I'm like, the conversation is like 45 seconds. I mean, it did not take a lot to convince.
No, it really didn't.
And Walter, that's the kind of a note I have to throw out my notes. Walter's so much nicer than he needs to be.
Yes.
This is a big project. This took thousands of years for them to get, and he's so close to his goal, Walter, played by Brian Dennehy. But he's really way too understanding, almost completely throughout. It's weird.
Through the whole thing. I chalked it up to him being so intelligent that he understands. It's almost like don't sweat the small stuff kind of thing, right? So he understands that what's going to be is going to be. So I think it was intentional that he was very, very understanding. Mm-hmm. It gave you that air to him. Yeah. Like, he's smarter than the rest of us.
Yeah. You definitely, that's true. You definitely got that. I still think, wow, like, he was, like, very understanding. Even when that one died, the alien died in the shell, the cocoon. Yeah. That was very sad.
Well, and was that supposed to convey that they didn't have, like, emotion, though? You know what I mean? Like, that...
Well, he cried.
He did cry, but it was, like, the first time that's ever happened.
And he, like, touched his tear. Yeah.
So he's getting a little bit of that human...
That's right.
...to him, which was very downplayed.
Yeah.
Right? Very downplayed.
Because it didn't work on the woman. Like, I don't think she felt anything for Jack.
No.
I don't blame her.
Oh, my God. I did write, wouldn't the aliens have some sort of sense that people are there? Like, I feel like they got away with it a lot before the aliens realized that they were there.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, why wouldn't... I mean, I would feel like that they would... Or even have, like, some sort of a security system.
Oh, that's a really good point. That's a really good point. I mean, I think that's maybe part of what I was saying earlier. It's like, this plan is 10,000 years in the making, and it's not a great plan. Yeah. It's also, even the resolution is like, Ben's like, should we just bring him back to the water? And he's like, oh, what a great idea. I'm like, wait, what? That's...
You need Ben to figure this out? I had that as a
You need Wilford Brimley to save your civilization?
What are you talking about? Is that really such a crazy idea? Like,
what, bring them to a new body of water? That's all it takes. That was weird. The science of these aliens was weird to me.
Well, and I don't understand why they didn't prepare the pool in any way. Right?
So all he said was, I'll handle the chlorine. That's all he said, remember?
Yeah.
He's like, we'll clean it ourselves. I don't like all that chlorine stuff.
It's a little off there.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I'm going to say it. The finale weirdly dragged a bit for me. I felt I don't know if I needed to see every single person get on that boat. I don't know if I needed to see them looking for the old people. I don't think I needed to see the kid running from the group all the way through. Like, it's just stretched out. Oh, what's hilarious, though, they're in such a rush. They're in a rush. Yeah. And here comes Bernie, taking an hour and a half, walking down the plank, and they're like, Bernie. Bernie, by the way, because I have to say it, Golden Girls, he was Sophia's husband for a couple of episodes. Mm-hmm. Couple of great episodes, Bernie. So this is some really fun. If you can, so Bernie goes all the way down the plank, and they're like, Bernie. And he goes, I'm just here to say I'm not going. I'm like, you motherfucker. So, we just waited for you.
Yeah. just want to let you know. You couldn't just wave. When did he say the speech? Because his speech was great. It wasn't near the end. I mean, it was...
About Rose, he can't get Rose back. And like, was that what
No, I think it was before Rose died.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was before. Bernie's speech was great. He said, nature dealt us our hand of cards, and we played them. And now, at the end, you suddenly want to shuffle the deck? And I really liked that point. Like, he's like, this is our hand. Like, this is
your life.
This is our life. We're at the end. Yeah. We can't go back.
Yeah.
And I really liked how he worded it, how he, like the metaphor of the deck of cards and all that sort of thing.
And the idea of shuffling the deck, you really could get screwed that way too.
Absolutely.
And they have to leave their whole family behind. So it really is not just this easy thing. And yeah, maybe are you saying that Bernie was right all along?
I feel like he had a very valid point.
Would you have done this?
I don't know if I would have left. And that's one of the notes that I have. Like, I felt like if I had kids and family, I could see it a little bit if you didn't have anything to really live for on Earth. Mm-hmm. But if you still had family, and it seemed like Ben, with Wilford, he had a very loving, attentive family who visited him and things, right?
It seemed like he had a regular dates with his grandchild, yes.
Yeah. He had a fulfilling life, I guess.
Yeah.
So for him to up and leave and live forever, like, what are you living for?
Why couldn't he bring them? That's never even explained.
That's never asked.
They could live together,
he should have at least asked.
Been like, hey, listen, this is going to sound crazy, but there are these aliens. Come on the boat with us and live forever. Yeah. Like, I mean, it just seemed weird that it was never even considered.
Right. It's almost like you have to be old in order to understand the value of living forever.
Well, he did say, Walter said, you can be students, but you'll also be teachers. Mm-hmm. And maybe maybe this movie just proves that kids are pretty useless.
That's probably what it is, right? Sorry, Bastian. I did really like the friendship between Ben and Walter. I liked that camaraderie between the two of them. I thought it was really touching.
I agree, and yet, when that alien died, I kind of wanted a little bit more from Ben, like, I'm very sorry. Like, it didn't, like, there's nothing in the moment, like, can I help, can I help, can I help? Like, they weren't trying to help anything, and it was their fault. Like, I kind of wanted a little more humility from Ben, and a little more anger from Walter. They were both too passive.
They were very, very similar personalities.
Yes. That's interesting.
Almost too similar.
Christina, you are just, your insights today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Who knew?
Well, I am closer to that senior citizen age, so maybe I can relate a little bit better. I wrote, the mom, is she from another planet too? She was quite terrible in this.
I
no
felt,
emotion.
Christina, 1000%.
Right?
I felt like, I actually looked at her name and I forgot it because I was like, I wonder if she was related to one of the producers or something. Like, because I just felt like she dialed it in. Like, I don't think she was awful, but I felt like, I never felt she was the mother of this child.
No,
I never felt she was the daughter.
Missing. I'm going to be a little bit more emotional.
I never felt she was the daughter of Wilford Brimley. Like, I just didn't buy the dynamic. I didn't buy the energy, the performance.
The parents are missing. Like, and that's the other thing. Like, when they're leaving, the mom... Did they even say goodbye to their children? Like, they said it.
No.
They didn't, right?
No, they left.
They just left. If as a mom, I would be horrified to leave my child.
I think, could it be that she was maybe paying for their care? And if they were like, oh, we're leaving that nursing home. They touch upon that where it's like, oh my God, they're crazy. They're senile. They're, or they're being like hoodwinked by some evil, person.
I think that's more, that's
like
more
sicko.
along the lines because people think that older people, because they're older, they're just dumb. Yeah. And that's sad.
I will say, I was so glad, I mean, I'm assuming it's not really that actor that slams his entire body into the boat off the plank.
God.
I'm like, he definitely cracked 3 ribs.
Yeah, something happened.
And I was so glad because when they pulled him up, Wilford Brimley, the first thing he says is, are you okay? And he's like checking him. And I was like, I'm really glad there was that moment because it really looked like that hurt.
Yeah.
And then he jumps off the boat. Oh my God. I actually kind of like that. I was like, oh, it's good. He's doing it to save his grandparents so they can get away. I like that.
Yeah, that was good. That was very good. And I agree with you. I liked the ending, but it did seem just a little too long.
I think for me, it was like, I know what they were trying to do, like, will they get away? Will they get away? But then you need to speed up the editing of that and make it more exciting. To me, it really dragged.
It wasn't exciting.
It wasn't exciting.
No, it wasn't exciting. I never thought for a second they were going to get caught. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just never felt like it wasn't going to go as
you're
planned.
Right. The music was more like thrilling. It was more like they're gonna do this.
Yeah, it was like an
We're
ET
waiting
music.
for the spaceship.
Like ET
You're waiting
music.
for the spaceship, right? And so I think if the music had been a little more suspenseful, if there was no spaceship in sight, like, then you're like, oh, are they just going to the middle of the ocean? Like, where are they going?
Yeah, and if the mom was like, speed up, or had some sort of emotion involved, that might be, or like maybe a helicopter or something. I mean, honestly, I wrote, she's more alien than Walter.
I
did.
Okay,
sorry.
no, please
I'm
do,
just.
yeah.
I have my last note was just like I loved that whole idea of them being lost at sea, and how it just like wrapped it up so nicely, and because they're old, they're not going to look that hard.
Oh, is that what your takeaway from that was?
Kinda.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, it was a little odd that they wouldn't see a giant spaceship. I mean, they weren't that far away.
They weren't that far
That's
away.
why I kind of would have wanted, like, the spaceship to appear at the very last possible second, beam and take him away. Like, have it be like, I get the thrill of, like, da 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 da.
Right, yeah, you have to have
But
that.
it's like, I honestly think it would have been much cool if it was, like, just gone in a flash.
What
like,
if there was?
Holy shit.
What if they did that thing, and then had a flash of light, and kind of everybody that was watching were like, "What just happened?" Like almost like
they
didn't understand, forgot it, or something on that. If they could have done that quickly enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Believe it or not, I don't have any more notes either. And that was kind of a mixed bag for us. The big question, more, less, about the same?
I think I liked it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is, I think when I first watched it, because it had all that hype,
Mm-hmm.
I think I expected it to be a little bit more.
Yeah.
And now watching it for a second time, I was able to sort of appreciate just more of that fluffy stuff.
Yeah.
And just enjoy it. And I'm a little closer, again, like I'm a little closer to their ages, kind of, not that close, but, and also having that experience like with my older relatives and my father and things like that. Like I just have a better understanding of the mentality that I think the older generation might be going through.
Mm-hmm.
So I could understand it a little bit better about what they're thinking of. So
Yeah.
I think I appreciate it a little bit more.
Yeah. I also liked it more as well.
Oh,
I
nice.
really liked the human stories of the older folks and how this new living affected them.
Mm-hmm.
I liked seeing how they were before, how they are, after they've been affected. I liked that there was a lot of like suspicion and judgment and weirdness with different people, and not everyone was as gung-ho as they were.
Mm-hmm.
I liked a lot of like I said, the friendships and the relationships and all that. So yeah, and that meant much more to me now versus being a 13-year-old kid. But I was gonna say Don Amici,
Mm-hmm.
the tall was it? Well, no, what's his name?
He was the one that. What did he do? Was he the one?
He's the one that hooked up with the dance instructor.
Yeah.
So he won an Oscar for this.
No
Best supporting
kidding.
actor, and it was really shocking because he had not, like, typically with movie awards season, there's a million awards. There's like all these film critics awards and all this stuff. He was never nominated for anything else. And when the Oscar nominations came out, he got nominated and he won. And he was like such a dark horse for this. Because if you think about it, he doesn't really have a very showy role. Even his big moment, I would argue, is the dance scenes, which is a stunt double with the break dancing, which is very fun. But yeah, so he won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor.
Oh wow, good for him.
And I think it won for visual effects? I think it may have.
I think you're right. I think it did.
So get this: Robert Zemeckis was originally assigned to be the director, but the producers. So he had just finished Romancing the Stone.
Okay.
The producers saw Romancing the Stone and were like, "Oh God, it's terrible."
What?
And they ended up going with Ron Howard to direct, and then Romancing the Stone was obviously a huge hit, and everybody loved it.
Oh my gosh! And we just revisited that.
Yeah, and then obviously Joe and Alma, Hume Cronyn and Jessica Tandy were married in real life. Hugh Cronin was a boxer at one point in his
kidding.
life, and he allegedly really hit the guy by accident in that scene.
Oops.
Yeah. He called it a depth perception accident.
Interesting.
Budget $17.5 million. Box office $85.3 million.
Wow.
Big hit.
Wow.
I have a match game.
I have an FMK.
Oh, you should go first.
I couldn't resist. Okay, so my FMK.
And we're talking characters.
We're going to do characters.
Okay.
Yes, characters. So your first choice is Walter,
Okay.
the alien, played by Briandennehy.
Yeah.
The second choice is Jack, who's Steve Guttenberg.
Okay.
And then our third is Ben, Wilford Brimley.
This is shockingly easy.
I
But
thought
it's
it would
but
be
it
a
feels
little
a
bit
little
easy,
it feels a little cold-blooded and a little short-sighted, but I'm
Okay.
gonna go with it. I am effing Jack.
Okay.
I am marrying Ben,
Yeah, that's what I thought we would do.
and I'm killing Walter. Walter, first of all, is never going to be around. And I think there are going to be some intergalactic cultural challenges between us. And
So you never considered effing him?
Walter?
Yeah.
No.
So if it was me, I would have effed him and killed Jack.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mostly for the curiosity factor.
I think Ben is probably a great husband. Super funny.
Ben,
I laughed.
Mary,
I
hands
laughed.
down,
I laughed
absolutely.
like almost every time he spoke. I laughed.
Yep, absolutely. Now that he can drive again, too.
And he takes chances. What a fun guy.
Yeah, he was fun.
All right, are you ready for my match game?
I am.
Okay. So Mary is Ben's wife. Remember Ben and Mary, Maureenstapleton. Mary said, "I knew something was up with Ben. He seemed so much younger. I asked him what he wanted for breakfast one morning, and he said blank."
Ding.
Ding! It goes so many ways. Mary said, "I knew something was up with Ben. He seemed so much younger. I asked him what he wanted for breakfast the other morning, and he said blank."
Fruit Loops.
So we went slightly different approaches. I was gonna write Pop-Tarts, like something juvenile
God,
like that.
yeah.
I said a blowjob.
Shut up!
I did. Well, I was thinking
my
like
God.
something like, it's match game, like raunchy. And Ben talking about blue steel, talking about his erections, talking about sex. Like I thought he was just more sexually
would never
charged.
Ask Mary for a blowjob.
I don't know.
That is not who
You
he
guess
is.
you didn't watch the.
He would probably just grab her head and push it.
You didn't watch the director's cut, I guess.
Oh my God.
But anyway, so
that's cute. I like that.
So I will say, Cocoon is hard to find. I had to rent it from the library.
I rented it from the library as well.
It's nowhere to be found.
But it's, you know what? I kind of like it. I mean, if you're looking for like a family movie, I don't think it's going to be on your radar. But I think that would be a fun thing.
You're
to
saying
watch.
a family movie.
Yeah.
So how old should the kids be?
Yeah, I mean, not that young. Like it's a PG. So I'd say 10 and up probably is fine.
Mom, what does blue steel mean?
They'd never say that. No one would ever say, what does blue steel mean? Not one person. And the mom would probably be like, I don't know, steel that's blue.
Actually, Christina, you're reminding me. Did you ever see the movie Blue Steel with Jamie Lee Curtis?
Holy
crap. I need to check my house. Oh my God. Holy crap.
All right.
That had to have come up.
That's Cocoon.
And that's it for us and for this episode of Old Roommates.
Thank you for listening. Please remember to follow us on Instagram or YouTube, where we have our episodes as well as a little extra.
And if you have any questions about our show, any suggestions for movies we could revisit, reach out to us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com.
Thanks again for listening.
This is Brian.
And this is Christina. Until next time.